Hey guys, it's me, EODGamer here, and when 3.x is coming up, I think one of the biggest important things I want to share is how should you prepare for it without just saying the obvious. Just save your resources. What resources exactly, and why should you save some things, and why some things are not necessary to save. First off, let's start off with the Herta shop, which I think a lot of people might miss. If we were to get a new path, or perhaps we are entering a new area and stuff, they are likely going to do two things, one of two things. One is maybe they introduce a new path, which we discussed on the channel, which is a possibility. If they have a new path, likely we're going to have a new free-to-play path of whatever knot that is coming out, 5-star Herta shop. So make sure you save at least enough for one to pick the base copy, and then over time, if you can get like the super imposers custom made, if you have extra, you can pick it up. This is one of the aspects that you want to think of. On top of that, you are going to want these star rail passes sooner or later, and you want to actually have enough resources to perhaps pick these star rail passes. Of course, this is probably like the lowest priority. Star rail passes are like one of the lowest priority before you get everything else. What's more important is the rest of the items and saving up for the eventual new 5-star Herta shop Litecoin. But the more important part is, why is Star Rail Pass useful? Is if we were to eventually come up with a new path, you are going to have an updated standard banner as well. I'm not talking even about like the characters on the banner that are like standard 5 stars. Maybe we will get a new free standard 5-star added into the pool, and that is a huge plus. But if a new path is coming out, more importantly is none of the other Litecoins in the game can be used for these characters so far, because every other Litecoin is for a specific path. Which means, new path coming out, you're going to have new Litecoins, new characters possibly added into this standard banner. You want to have as much as you can. So don't like, if you get your pulls in November, you get your pulls in December, don't just immediately whack everything and just pull everything. Save it, because 2.7 is still going to be throughout December. You want to save those December shop resets, the 5 pulls that you can get, to get eventually more of these path of whatever new path that is coming out in 3.x. So two things that we talked about so far to save on, which people might not be planning if you haven't prepared, you're not like thinking that far. So I'm trying to save. I started a bit late. I just took my November ones and I'm saving November. December, I'll have a nice comfortable 10 pull, so you don't have to like, no one wants to pull on the standard banner just for the new path gear, right? So those are two things that you want to save. Of course, without a doubt, one important thing is make sure you're saving your Stellar Jades. This is without a doubt, everyone knows that. Saving Stellar Jades now is really, really important, because when 3.x comes about, even 2.7, tons of meta characters. And here I want to share with you like an honest heart-to-heart tip. There were times, like I played Genshin Impact in the past before coming over to Honkai Star Rail as well, and there were some times I felt like lull periods, I got a bit carried away, like pulling things that I didn't need. Like maybe I didn't even need Aventurine's Litecoin, for example. I went to get it because there was nothing else to pull. It's a lull period. I'm just kind of bored, itchy. I want to like pull something. Don't do that. Go play Zenless Zone Zero or something when there's stuff to do. Now in lull period, make sure you're saving your resources every day as much as you can, because when Hoyoverse hypes things up, Panicani launch, new characters, spanking new DPS, it goes from lull to immediate hype, and that's when the FOMO is the highest. If you don't have resources saved up, you might be tempted to spend, and I don't want any of you to like have to spend money unnecessarily as well. If you're wondering at this point, how much resources can you save up? How many tickets can you get to like 3.x, 2.7, if 3.x was after 2.7, for example, you will want to check out our video which we have, which we talk about a predictions sheet where we plan for you on a daily basis how much you get up to a certain date. We're going to update that every single patch, and I'll probably talk about it on the channel as well. Check that video out if you haven't, it's on the channel. Anyways, it's a free resource sheet that you guys can just bookmark and save as well. So already talked about 3 different things to save on. Now, instead of just saving currency and stuff like that, it's very easy. The next thing that I want to talk about is resource and materials. Now, if you guys are farming for materials over here, all your different ones, don't bother about this capped out energy. I'll talk about it in a bit, what I am trying to do specific for my account, but don't bother saving for like your trace materials, your character ascension materials. These two likely are going to have new ones coming out, because we saw like, for example, these imaginary ones, these Panically ones, they came out in 2.x, right? They never existed before. So anyone who like pre-farm for future characters and stuff, the current ones, totally wasted. So don't do this. Don't farm character essential materials. Don't farm trace materials. Any excess energy that we have right now, if you're not building new characters, you're not pulling new characters, should be ideally used for 4 things. 1, EXP materials, like your credits, your weapon EXP, your light cone EXP, or your character EXP. All these super important. If you have this, make sure you go and like invest in them, get more resources so you can build multiple characters, because they aren't going to change. Panacony has shown us they're just going to use the same materials, so it's likely going to be 3.x if you get a new planet and stuff. So these are good, but some of you who are maybe longer time players, you don't have too many characters to build, you probably are in excess in all of these. Some of you on our Discord are already saying you have 14 million credits, 15 million credits. It's crazy stuff at this point, 1 year plus in. But then in that case, you might want to consider getting more relic remains, be it farming in your planner ornaments, farming in your Cavern of Corrosion. You can farm these sets. Great ones to farm, of course, are the newer ones like Path on Uncertainty as well. These are all newer sets that you can just spend some time grinding. If you want to know more information about which is the more efficient domains to farm, you can check out our videos on the channel where we talk about some of the past ones. I might make an updated one after we get the 3.x new stuff that's all about, but for now, you can check it out on the channel as well. So relic remains, great because it can be carried over. If a new domain comes out, you're rushing to gear a new character fast. You want to be the first guy who has your new 3.x character best out of all of them so you can flex on people on Reddit and stuff like that. Save your relic remains. Those are really important. And of course, the last tip that I have is specific to, I guess, very long-term players, or perhaps myself even as a content creator, is actually stockpiling this reserve Trailblaze. Now, this advice is not for a Tom, Dick, or Harry, not the large majority of people, but for those of you who have been playing me like since day one, maybe I have no need for energy at all, you have tons of gear, you are really well maxed out. I would try to push this as high as I can, closer to like 2k, because you can whack on day one like every single energy for the new relics as well, especially in the long term. For me, I'm just doing it because I make content. I also stream on Twitch as well, so for me it's a lot of value. But for the large majority of people, I don't advise you do so, because you can get a lot more better value elsewhere. For me, at this stage of the game, I have every single character in the game, and I have every single character ascended already, and my lowest character is 71. I have every character in the game, so they're all pretty decently well built at this point of time. So I just want to give the disclaimer what I'm talking about in terms of like pre-farming for materials. Of course, next up is you are not always done with your account, and as I'm doing the account reviews on Reddit r/EODGamer, I see the common problem is people don't like to invest in a lot of their characters, especially the supportive characters throughout. I see some people, for example, leaving Gallagher at 75, level 75 out of 80, leaving him at like 71 out of 80 just ascended, and they are not even leveling up his traces like this one that I have. I personally don't play Gallagher, so it's okay if I don't fully max him, but people are not leveling up traces like HP boost, not leveling up like effect res and stuff like that, because his final nodes are all effect res, HP and stuff, right? A lot of these are very important, because if your characters are going to be played for long term, they are in your main teams, make sure you get as much value of them. Even if it doesn't add damage, it might help you restart one less time along the long period of time. And energy, as time tends to infinity, it becomes like an almost infinite resource. Energy is like kind of worthless if you have been playing for like 10 years kind of thing. You guys that have been playing for a long time, you will know how that feels. So make sure you look at all your supports, gear them up, because these characters are likely going to still be useful when we go on to version 3.x, and that is a huge important thing that I want to talk about. Character building. If you are confused, you don't know what to go, you are struggling in the game, you can check out r/EODGamer and post your account there, or catch us live on Twitch where we do our account reviews for all the people that post on Reddit. That's where we try our best as much as we can. And of course, last but not least, that I want to talk about in this video is quests. Make sure do not have a backlog of quests like I do over here. Try to clear as much quests as you can, especially the main story, because if we are going to 3.x, you want to be caught up on the story. You don't want to rush, you want to enjoy the story as well. So if you guys have any of these extra quests that you have like messages from your teammates that you haven't answered, go and do all of this. It's free resources. We are in a lull period, so don't think that there's nothing to do. There's always something to do. So clear this and you're likely going to be in good stead for the future. Anyways guys, if you found this video helpful, like, comment and subscribe for more such future content. I'll be making more 3.x content once we get more official information as well. At this point, I highly recommend you check out these two other videos we have on the channel, which I think you might like. And thank you guys again so much for watching. See you in the next video.